Right, we'll get going. Thank you for joining me today for this short webinar, which I hope will give you some tips on how to use Teams and other platforms to stay connected with your teams, and hopefully some fun ideas to take away and use yourselves. We were going to go into some of this in last week's webinar that Simon Jeffries ran, which was a lot more technical, but there was so much content with that, we thought it was best to split it out. So this should only go on for about 15-20 minutes, and I'll give you about 15 minutes for a Q&A afterwards. So if you want to start sending questions over throughout the webinar, we'll have a look at them at the end. So today I'll be talking you through the ways that we're staying connected with our teams during this time at Complete IT. And we are in a very fortunate situation where most of our teams can easily adapt to work from anywhere, with all of our data being hosted in the cloud and our systems being easily accessed remotely. And we've been using Microsoft Teams for some time now, so communication really isn't the issue. However, it didn't mean that we didn't have some real concerns around our teams being able to work productively, safely, and most importantly, happily and healthily while they were working from home. So I'll sort of go through a few of the areas that we've been focusing on at Complete IT and some of the areas that our clients have been asking about as well. How we're using Teams to stay connected and ensuring our teams have regular contact, and what we're doing to keep things lighthearted and fun and ensuring that all the team members are safe and well. So many organisations like Complete IT have historically relied on their teams working from an office environment or on client site. One of the main reasons for this within our organisation is to keep the culture that we've built over the years alive, to really get to know each other and our clients by working side by side, meeting face to face. However, over the past 10 years or so, the trend for remote working has increased massively, with many people choosing to work from home. If you managed to catch Dan's webinar a few weeks ago, he touched on the need to allow remote working to attract the best new talent, which I'm sure now, more than ever, is going to be really important. Whether we like it or not, in any organisation that has always relied on people working from the office, where you can see them, collaborate and meet face to face, there's always going to be an initial issue with trust. I think the situation we find ourselves in now will dispel a lot of those fears. We're really lucky that we're able to continue what we do remotely, with our clients needing more support than ever. And we've seen productivity from our teams increase rather than decrease, as some may expect. If you do feel the need to understand whether your teams are online, in a meeting or free to talk, Microsoft Teams does have some of that functionality. As you can see above, if Robin's Outlook diary is free and she is online, you will see a green tick next to her name. The orange clock next to Ben's picture shows that he's away right now and was last active on Teams 17 minutes ago. The red dot shows that Robin has a meeting or call in her Outlook calendar. The pink arrow shows that James' out of office is on, and if you hover over his name at the top, you'll see the out of office reply. If you see a red triangle with an exclamation mark, it means there may be an issue with that Teams chat or Teams as a whole. You'll see the stop sign for busy or do not disturb, which you can set yourself by hovering over your picture on the top right. The grey circle with a cross in it shows that you're not online at all, which probably means you or your teams are away from their screen at that time. So that just gives you a sort of brief overview, as I know Skype has some of that functionality at all, and we had some questions last week around whether you could see when your teams were available, whether it was a good time to give them a call, or, like I said, just to sort of understand what they're working on. So moving on to productivity, again, a lot of this, I believe, comes down to trust and knowing that your teams are doing what they need to or should be doing. But we do need to ensure they have the right solutions, documents and data available to them so that they're able to work in a productive way. Teams goes a long way to enabling productive working with the collaboration tools available and the additional apps and add-ons. If you didn't catch Simon's webinar last week, which went into much more detail on it, it's on our website and YouTube channel. I'll also send it over when I send over the recording of this webinar following. During this lockdown period, we've launched our own new internal SharePoint site, the Complete Hub. It's to allow our teams access to the latest documents without having to spend time searching or perhaps using old versions. We've also included company news, HR documents, ideas on how to stay happy and healthy at this time, documentation that our technical consultants and help desk use all of the time with clients, data privacy and compliance documents which are regularly updated and need to be readily available to the teams. This is also something that goes hand in hand with your GDPR. Client-facing documents and any branded templates that the teams would need to use. There's also a section on training and development, which is really important at the moment, where some people may have some more free time on their hands, or you've probably, I would expect, got some staff who are furloughed, but they can always continue to expand their skills while they're off. One of the ways that we've found we can ensure people are using the new SharePoint is to set it as their default browser page and include fun news as well as all of the important updates. I think, like we all find all of the time, and especially at the moment, there's so much serious stuff going on. It is really nice to, as I'll go into later, just include some fun bits for the team to get involved with, especially because people are going to be doing things outside working hours. It's really nice for them to be able to collaborate and get involved with things with the rest of the team. As you can see on here, we've got things like our charity events. We've actually had that this morning. Elliot has shaved his head for charity, for the NHS charities, which is brilliant. So we put that sort of thing on there. And all of the documents that we need teams to have access to as well. So staying connected. As I mentioned earlier, one of our main concerns was that we all stay connected, not just with regards to work, but also so that we keep the team spirit and culture alive. So I wanted to go through a few of the things we've tried to ensure that our teams are doing to stay connected. Microsoft Teams is one of the main solutions we've used ourselves. Every day, each separate team, account managers, help desk, technical consultants, marketing, have all been encouraged to catch up over a Teams video call, whether there's anything to do with work that needs talking about or just for a general catch up on how everyone's doing. If you use Teams, you'll know how simple it is to create a Teams meeting. You just create an Outlook calendar request as you would normally, invite your team or whoever you want to be involved, and click the Teams meeting, which will add the link into the body of the calendar request. And then at the time of the meeting, you simply go into the request, click on the link, and everyone's there. And you've got the ability to have your camera on, camera off, mute, and then collaborate while you're in the meeting as well. We've got a daily recurrence, but obviously that's down to you individually. We often reschedule for later in the day, but just knowing that it is in there and you're going to catch up with the team during the day is really beneficial. It also means that people have to get dressed and look presentable, even if it is just the top half, which is proven to really help with productivity. Most organisations have regular management meetings with a number of people needing to join. So Microsoft Teams is a really good platform for that, as you can share screens, collaborate on the same documents, and easily take control as per the agenda. At the moment, there's only the ability to see 4 people on the screen at any time, but they are making some changes so 9 people can be seen at any one time. And it was rumoured to be the end of April, so I would guess by tomorrow we may well be able to have 9 people on one screen. We are very conscious that many of the team may be isolating alone or finding this time harder than others, or they may just need a break from working. So at Complete IT, we've set up 2 daily 15-minute drop-ins using Teams, one in the morning at about 9:45 and one in the afternoon at about 3:45. And it is just a link within a calendar request that's gone out to the whole company. And it means that anyone can drop in if they're feeling a bit down in the morning, if they just want to have a chat. We encourage people not to talk too much about work in them, grab a coffee. And it's really nice for people if they don't really want to chat, but they just want to hear the buzz of their colleagues chatting in the background. I really would recommend that because it's something that's there if people aren't busy at that time, to just drop in on, and it's just so easy to do. It is worth noting for when people are back in their offices that Teams Rooms is a really good way of using Microsoft Teams and ensuring you can see full meeting rooms and conduct meetings with more people, boardroom to boardroom, or have individuals join a meeting that is taking place in a boardroom. If you want to learn more about Teams Rooms, we do have a webinar recording on the Microsoft resources section of our website, or get in contact with me afterwards and I'll happily get someone to talk you through it. So since first week of lockdown, we've run weekly internal and external webinars via Zoom. I know that is not possible for everyone, and I did begin to regret it quite quickly, actually, realizing how much work would go into it. But it's been really, really beneficial for our internal teams, and also we've launched them externally as well with various different subjects. So with subjects such as wellness at home, company updates, Q&As with the company directors, and all of the sessions are designed to give the team a short break and the chance to ask different members of the team questions during the live Q&A. And with Zoom, you can pull a list of everyone that's registered and everyone that attends the webinar so that you can follow up with the recording and any other information, like I will after this webinar. So the record functionality is really simple and easy to use, meaning you can quickly upload the recording. We use Stream and send out the link so that anyone that was unable to attend can catch up. And you can also track how many people were watching it from your team. This is for the internal webinars. We have been trialling and we'll be moving on to using Teams live events from next week for our internal webinars. And shortly after, those will be rolled out for the external webinars too. Once we're up and running and we've got some experience, we will schedule a webinar around Teams live events to show you all how to use it and what we've learned. So now I'm going to move on to some of the more fun but just as important stuff we've been doing as a company, and hopefully you'll go away with some ideas that you can use within your own businesses. Every day we've been sending out an email with tips from someone in the team to stay happy and healthy. They started with just a few bullet points and have grown into videos. In the example, you can see Rod, our managed service director, who's managed to pick up the guitar again, which I think loads of us were really surprised that Rod played the guitar. I think he did a quick demo on how to make homemade naan bread as well. We've also been encouraging people to send in their work from home selfies, as it's really good for the teams to visualize how other people are working and that no situation is perfect. Within these emails, we also remind the team who our mental health first aiders are. I know loads of organisations won't have that function, but it's definitely worthwhile giving advice on who the team can turn to if they feel their mental health is suffering. We've also partnered with a company who offer online yoga classes 4 times a week at 8 AM before work starts, which we've offered out to our whole team. Obviously, some of these things might not be things that your team would take up. And actually, I didn't think we'd have such a big take up on the yoga, but people are really enjoying it. Live classes done via Zoom meetings and really easy to join via the link. Can either have your camera on or off. And loads of places are doing very similar exercise classes. We send out a mindfulness link as well, which some people join at lunchtime. We're also in the process of launching a buddy scheme where we pair up the team with special focus on the people that live alone or are struggling, so that they have someone to check in with on a daily basis. One of the things that our teams has found really beneficial is knowing that everyone is in the same situation. So from the managing director to the help desk, technical consultants, account managers, sales director, and honesty just goes such a long way. Motivation is likely to be slipping slightly as the weeks go on, and it's just about bringing new and innovative ideas to the forefront, making sure that the business is communicating with the teams and no one feels like they are on their own. At Complete IT, myself and the HR manager review our internal comm strategy and what we're doing around the team on a weekly basis, just looking at areas that may not be working or we could improve on, And obviously, we encourage the teams to send in ideas as well, what they would like to see. These are some of the more informal, fun things we're doing. It's really easy to set up a Zoom meeting or use other available software to do a quiz with your teams. All you need is questions, a volunteer quiz master, and you need to trust that your teams are going to give their true scores, obviously. We run these most weeks with the various offices getting involved, and it shouldn't be down to just one person to organise it. It's really easy just to maybe ask, I don't know, someone in marketing to organise everything, but they've got so many other areas they need to focus on and do, and other people in the team will really enjoy getting involved as well. So we've also set up a virtual pub, the Quarantine, which opens at 5:30 every Friday for each one of our offices using Teams. So again, just a calendar invite out of Outlook, Teams link, that everyone can join. The only rule being that they must have a drink, it doesn't have to be alcoholic, and there is no work talk in the pubs. It's actually been a brilliant way to unwind after the week, and I've found that I'm talking to way more people in the team that I wouldn't usually sort of chat to. We've also always got the managing director in there and all the senior management team. We've also had a number of team meetings that have taken place in fancy dress, which is a great idea, just to lighten the mood a bit, including the senior management team meeting, which actually made it onto the BBC somehow. This week we decided to shake it up a bit as everything goes on a little bit longer and motivation is slipping a little bit possibly. So we launched Taskmaster. So just sent out an email with a task to, I think this week's to make a sculpture or picture out of socks. And then the winner will get a takeaway for their family delivered over the weekend. So that's just a few of the more fun ideas that I just wanted to share. I really hope you got some tips to take back to your own businesses. I'd love to hear what some of you are doing to stay connected with your teams too, and just make sure that everyone's kind of staying upbeat and knows who to talk to if they are feeling down as well. So next week's webinar is on data protection, the laws and principles that your organisations must be following, and Matt Riley is going to be running that one. Follow our social media channels for the link to register, and I'll be sending out an email as normal with the invite and the registration link. So a few of the other areas we've got that you may not have seen are our resources pages on our site covering all of the Microsoft suite, cybersecurity and data protection, as well as past webinar recordings and a load of different information there, stuff that you can send on to your teams as well. We've got 5 tips PDFs which are all around cybersecurity, which is so important when they're at home. They can't just turn to their colleague to ask if they should click on a link, or whether the finance director sent them that email that said pay £50,000 now. So there's a lot of information there that hopefully you'll find really beneficial just to send on, all free obviously. We've also just launched a new training portal that is free to our clients and includes 3-minute videos on everything from mental health in the workplace, cybersecurity, training on Microsoft Word, PowerPoint and Excel. It's a really brilliant platform to offer out to your teams whilst they may have a bit more spare time on their hands, and something they can do whilst they're furloughed as well. If you're not a current Complete IT client but are interested in talking about the portal, just send me an email after this and I can arrange for someone to give you a call. So that's it from me, and thank you very much. If you want to send over any questions into using the Q&A, I'll do my best to answer them. Just bear in mind that this is not a technical webinar, but I will do my best. So first of all, is it possible to link certain files, folders from our SharePoint site to a specific Teams file? Yes, it is. I will send you an email afterwards, Pam, if you want to just send over your email address. and give you some more information on that. Do you use Zoom at all? We found more of our staff use Zoom, but we also like that it shows all those on the call, not just the 4 latest speakers. So I think this was before I mentioned about the changes where you've got the changes to Teams where you will have 9 people. But yeah, I do find some people are more drawn to Zoom. I think possibly because they've used it more, they're more used to it. It does say in brackets here some of our older staff, so it may just be that they are more used to Zoom. If you do have Teams though, I would recommend it for Teams calls, just for the collaboration side. Sharing documents, being able to work on the same documents at the same time is just so useful. I don't know if I mentioned earlier as well, there is also a record function in Teams. So any meetings, even one-to-one meetings that you have, you can record those to listen back to at a later date, which is great if someone's just running late. I mean, at the moment, if you've got screaming kids running around and you're 10 minutes late to a meeting, that kind of thing is actually really beneficial. We use Gmail for email with our calendar in Google. We also have Office 365. How best can we combine? With Office 365, we can put all our files on the cloud using SharePoint. Okay, George, if you can send me your email, I will actually get someone to email you back about that, because I'm probably not the best placed person to answer that one. Any top tips on how to counter Zoom fatigue? All the extra video conference meetings are exhausting. I completely agree. I've definitely got a lot less video meetings in my diary than I did the first few weeks. I'm sure that's the same for a lot of people. I think you really should space them out, even trying to have a day off having meetings. We have a monthly full day meeting and it actually works quite well, but we do make sure we take regular breaks. So we have 15-minute breaks and make sure we have that hour lunch break. But yeah, I would definitely recommend having a day off any video calls in the week. I'm even finding I'm having a weekend off family and friends video calls at the weekend because it does get exhausting. Right, do you find all your teams get involved in everything? No, not at all. There are people sort of, so you know the people in your business, some want to get involved with everything, some want to get involved in nothing. We've got various internal webinars. We have people that attend every single one, some that attend a couple and some that attend none. Although today, with Elliot shaving his head for charity, we got a lot more people than we usually would. So like I mentioned, with the including fun things when you might have a more serious message to get across is definitely a good way to go with that. Will you continue these webinars after lockdown? Yes, I definitely won't be doing weekly webinars, and I think the internal ones we will continue because I think we will see a lot more people working remotely. But we will move it to a monthly webinar, as with these webinars, which will move back to monthly. Just not having the time with everything else going on as well. We're not a client, but would be interested in looking at the training platform. Yep, that probably came across before I said, but send me an email. I'll send this recording out afterwards, so you'll all have my email address and I'll get someone to contact you. And that is it, I think. So thank you so much everyone for joining me. A bit different to our normal webinars, not as technical, but I really hope you've got some ideas of things that you can take back to your own teams. And feel free to email me on absolutely anything and I will try and get the right person to contact you or answer myself. Thank you.